I'll be leading the coaching this time around. Wonka and I are kind of gonna alternate between lessons here as we go.
Toast, are you recording or do you want me to record?
I don't really know how to record on this. I think it'd probably be better if you did it.
Alright, I got it.
Yeah, my voice should still be picked up since I have it on the setting.
Yep. I think we're all ready to go then. So, you want to take it away?
Cool. Yep. So everyone finish the lap here on if you want to, and then can exit the track and then spectate my car. And we'll just go over the first sector here to start with. Okay, so if everyone can see my car and get started here, let me pull up my notes so I don't forget anything. So last week's track, Tacubaya, was a great place to learn the basics of cornering because each corner is essentially by itself. It's isolated, so the ideal racing line for each corner there is always outside at corner entry, inside to the apex, and outside again at the exit. I chose Lago Maggiore East because it has two really great examples of how the ideal racing line changes quite a bit when corner complexes are involved. That meaning basically corners chained together. So the first example of a corner complex here is sector 1, turns 1 through 4, and I'll just drive through to show you the corners, so pay no attention to my driving line just yet. And you can see the corners here start off very tight, very close to each other. These two are a little bit more spread apart. Then you have this long left, followed by slightly tighter right-hander, which goes on to a fairly long straight. That makes turn 4 and this exit a very important corner, because if your corner exit here is slow, then you'll be losing time all the way down the hill here, down to turn 5. But for turn 4, you need to use the full width of the track, outside, inside to outside, like we learned at Tsukuba last week, so that you carry as much speed as you can onto this straight. And that means you have to position the car. Let me turn around here. You have to position the car. You have to set up this corner. You have to prioritize it. So I can find the brake button again. There it is. Your corner entry, turning in, you're gonna want the car to be as far left as you can make it, and realistically, you're not gonna be able to have the car all the way to the left side, because if you look behind us, there's a corner exit of the left-hand corner right there. But you want to have it generally on the left side. You're probably asking, well, how do I get the car here? Because the exit of turn 3 is right before this point, and the answer is to prioritize your line through turn 4 by compromising your line through each corner before it. So let me get back to turn 1, kind of show you what that looks like. Basically going to be intentionally not taking the ideal corner of the ideal line of each corner in isolation, but instead slightly shifting the line on the corner exit toward the center of the track, set up the corner that follows it. So what that looks like here, turn 1 is a fairly normal corner entry because you're it's off of the pit straight. So outside in to the apex here, but instead of going all the way to the right side like you would if the corner was by itself, you need to exit more toward the middle of the track. And the reason you do that is because now the corner is open more for the corner entry, so you don't need to take such a tight corner entry. You can carry more speed on corner entry and then get the car rotated nicely. Corner exit here, you don't have to worry too much about putting the car towards the middle of the track. You can go a bit further left because you have more space to cross over the whole track here. And you can put all 4 tires to the right of that white line just a bit. The stewards don't get too angry about that. Then turn 3 here, again you want to compromise the exit, exiting towards the middle of the track, because then you have enough space, enough time to get the car left. And then this is where you want to turn in using the full width of the track for turn 4 and really optimizing that racing line through turn 4, getting the most speed you can onto the straight, because this is where you'll be either gaining or losing time depending on how that goes. So I'll just go around the lap here, not too long of a lap, and then I'll get onto the front straight with speed, so you can kind of see what that looks like through sector 1 at speed. I'm getting a preview of sectors 2 and 3 here as we go. So bringing the car gently over to the right-hand side, set up turn 1, Gonna brake just after this second to last board above the track on the right. Onto second gear here, bounce over the curb on the inside a little bit. You can see compromise the exit of turn 1 to get a nice entry and exit through turn 2. And then here's just a little lift. That lift is important because it gets you to the left side of the track. And then you can use all the curb on the exit. Get a nice run onto this straight here. Does anyone have any questions on how that becomes the ideal racing line for those corners? All right, cool. So we can practice sector 1 for a bit, probably at like a 20-minute, 30-minute timer or something like that, and just don't worry about the rest of the lap right now. Just focus on getting that line right through sector 1, and then slowly build up the speed. Don't worry about going through it too fast right now. Just focus on getting the line right, and then you can build up to the limit of grip like we did in week 1.
Yep, and then I would say you could even switch your MFD to be the sector times to see if you are generally improving or not as well. So that's a nice way to see whether or not you're getting better exit speeds.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and if the sector line for the beginning of sector 2 was further down the straight, like right before turn 5, you'd see your sector time would improve even more because of that that exit speed onto the straight.
For turn 4 specifically, make sure you guys aren't taking an early apex in that corner. Make sure you're taking a little bit of a later apex. That turn is like a little, it can entice you, it can entice you into taking an early apex because it's a little bit longer, the turn's a little bit longer than you realize.
now that we've done a few laps, to try it out if anyone wants me or Wonka to ride on board with them, and if you have any questions about it, then we can do that. Not just yet, no.
Yeah, I can watch your Sector 1. I guess both Toasty and I can watch. No pressure.
Yeah, so a few things about the line. So your exit of turn 1, you can stay a bit further right. I noticed you were going, you were turning left to the point where you were getting onto the left side of the track on the exit of turn 1. So yeah, so you just want to compromise the exit of turn 1 a little bit, not too much. Because you're at that point you're like losing speed trying to get to the left side of the track, and then through turn 3, the exit of turn 3, it's just a little lift and then back onto the throttle. Yeah, the long left-hander. Yeah, so you lifted for turn 3 to get the car turned in, which is good. But then you stayed off the throttle until the exit of 4. So yeah, just go back onto the throttle for just a little bit before braking for turn 4. You kind of just like coasted into turn 4 with a little brake. So anytime you're coasting, you're usually losing time. I mean, there's points where it's beneficial, but it's Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, it's hard for me to explain right now, I don't know why. If you, if you, gosh, I don't know. Oh, let me just watch it again. You want to use second gear for turn 1. And then, for the exit of turn, yep. Yeah, the line through 3 and 4 was all right. I think it's just that you're coasting all the way into 4 again. So ideally, you would want to be accelerating to the point where you have to brake for the corner. But instead, you're off the throttle and the brake. So there's not really any acceleration or deceleration happening. It's just kind of right. But the exit of turn 1, you want to compromise the exit less, meaning further to the right. Yeah, I saw you were only about 20% brakes there. So just make sure that when you're braking for turn 4, you're setting up the braking to brake in straight a line as you can, and initially brake at 100%, and then slowly back off the brakes as you're churning in. Wonka, did you see Mason's message, or you?
I did not.
Okay. He was asking if someone could watch his
okay.
lap, I think.
Yeah, I just finished this one lap right here. Alright, Mason.
So your line through 3 and 4 was much better that time with the throttle and brake. Just stay in third gear for turn 4.
Alright.
But still on turn 1, you can take much more speed into turn 1, and then much further to the right side of the track on exit.
Are you still behind me?
All right, Mason. Your line into turn 2, like you're compromising line 1 pretty well. Your entrance to turn 2 is pretty good, but you could probably just get on the power a little bit earlier coming out of turn 2. You had a lot of track on the left side of the exit of turn 2 that you didn't really use. So that just means you can get on the power a little bit earlier. And then I saw the lap that you did previously to the last one, and you had a pretty good exit around turn 4. For this one, specifically this last one, you just went in a little too hot. And then the one before that one, you basically were just a little too late on the accelerator, and you had, again, a little bit of room on the left side still. So you're kind of just like, you're triangulating, like you went a little bit too hot in last time, and then before that you went a little too soft in. So like you're kind of getting there. But your line going into turn 4 is pretty good. So
yeah, Thulu, that was much better last lap. You got like 1.4 seconds faster in sector 1.
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, Mason, for that last turn, try just braking a little bit earlier, and then maybe braking like less, so like brake maybe at like 80% or so, but earlier. It kind of gives you a little bit of like padding and a little bit of room for error adjustment as you enter the corner.
Alright, brother.
Yeah. But I think your understanding of the line is good. I think you kind of get the compromise to get a better exit in the next turn. So I think those seem pretty good. It's just you gotta fine tune your entrance to turn 4 to get a good exit, and then get on the power a little bit earlier still on turn 2. You're kind of overslowing a little bit too much on the entrance, I think.
Can I get an armor real quick?
Who's that, Capital?
No, it's Virgold. It's
Oh.
a clarification.
Sorry, I should know your voice by now.
No, it's alright. That's a little late.
I think that was better. We'll see if you get a PB on your sector time. Yeah, almost 0.3. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that was a whole 0.3 of a second faster. So
Wow, looks like I'm getting somewhere.
One thing too, guys, I don't know if y'all are shifting at 8,000, but once I started doing that, I think my time's getting better.
That's not the line.
Alright, Toasty, you want to move on soon to Sector 2? When you
Yeah,
get a
I was
chance?
just watching,
Yeah.
watching Virgil.
Yeah, I was shot that. Fuck.
I figured we might just do the rest of the track as the next part, since it's really just 2 hairpins and then the S's.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
But the S's is what I want to focus on. Yeah, so Virgil, your turn 1 entry is good. I feel like your turn 1 exit is a bit too far to the middle of the track or even to the left. So you can take a little bit more speed into turn 1 and then
Go to the left of the track, then go like to the right quickly. Like that.
yeah, so on the exit of turn 1 you can compromise the exit less, so a bit more towards the right of the track, and then just turn in earlier for turn 2. I saw you were a bit far from the inside curb. You can even put your right side tires on the yellow on the inside curbing there, and then that'll help you stay on the racing line for turn 3 to set that up. Because I noticed because you turned in late for turn 2, it kind of put you out of sequence for turn 3 and 4, and that's kind of why you ended up going deep on both of those.
Yeah, so like, I'm kind of using manual right now, so like I have like other things in my mind.
Oh, okay. But yeah, we can go over the rest of the track here pretty soon if everyone wants to finish the laps that they're on. Oh. No problem. So, if everyone is spectating my car,
Yeah, I think you're good to go.
and continue. Okay, so parked on the exit of turn 4 here. So beginning sector 2 now. This corner is pretty interesting. It's an example of elevation change in a corner, as well as having to continue steering both on corner entry and exit. The interesting one, usually in cars, Group 4 and Group 3, especially, you'll have to kind of take a different line here and really prioritize straightening the braking, because a lot of those cars, they just don't like braking and turning at the same time, and they'll get very loose. This car, though, nicely balanced for this corner, so you don't need to worry too much about that. Pretty much just brake at the end of this curb on the left. That's the reference I use for braking. You can, it's where the, there, I'll show you, I'll park next to it. This one here. So, yeah, this curve on the left. And then, if you take the, a nice and wide line through here, late apex, you can stay in third gear, and the, engine won't get too bogged down there. You can take a nice wide line on exit as well. And then the corners to focus on here are the S's. So S's are a great example of a corner complex where you need to compromise some corners to prioritize the exit, especially if the exit of the last corner is long straight like this is. So on the entry here, you have to kind of balance braking a little bit and coasting in order to not exit the corner too far right, because if you do that, then you're going to have to lift for this corner. Ideally, at this point, you're going to want to be full throttle and then carry that speed out to here. So it's very important to get that first part of the S's right, because if you don't, then you're going to have to be lifting or even braking further through the S's, which will cause you to be slow on the straight. So to go over this again, it's very weird going through here backwards. So from the exit of turn 5, make sure you're all the way over to the right side. And then you can use a lot of the curb and even a little bit more there. And this is just the line you should be taking. So exiting each turn toward the middle of the track to set up for the next one. And then you're full throttle all the way through here using minimal steering input. And then the braking reference there is you can start just before the 100 board above the track on the left. And then the hairpin at the end here. Another great example of a late apex, both because you can see the hairpin tightens quite a bit, and because there's a long straight that follows. So for both those reasons, a late apex is important as opposed to a geometric one. So again, braking right around the 100 meter board. Of course, you can shorten that distance as you become more comfortable with it. But just going onto the red and white curb on the inside there, and then getting the car straightened earlier, get the car rotated early and straightened early, so you can get on the power earlier as well. And that completes the lap, but I'll go through at speed again so you can see what sector 2 and 3 looks like. closer to much closer to the limit of grip here. So beginning sector 2 now. And I keep the car parallel to the white line on the left side of the track. And I'll kind of give you a nice guide on the wide entry of the corner there. Downshifting to third just for a bit there. And then full throttle even before that part of the S's finishes. Of course, I was a little bit offline through the middle there, so I just had to lift a tiny bit just to adjust. And then braking around the 100 meter board, late apex, and straightening the car early for the end of the lap. So any questions for sector 2 and 3?
I think the only thing I want to add is to just, if you're gonna focus on one thing for sector 2, it would be the exit of the S's. So try to get the first turn in the S pretty spot on, so you can get that essentially full throttle, turn 2 and 3, or not the turn 2 and 3, but the second and third
part of
part of the S's essentially flat out. And again, the whole idea of this whole thing of yesterday, or not yesterday's, last week's practice and week 1 is to maximize your exit speed going down straights, right? So for this track, it's turn 4, and then the exit of the S's, you want to maximize your speed, right? You want to be full throttle on those last 2 turns, and then finally the last hairpin, you want to have good exit speed as well. So yeah, I guess we can all get on the track and practice the S's. I wouldn't worry if you can't really nail down turn 5. That's the weird one, the weird braking and turning turn. Don't worry too much about that one. We're gonna kind of cover trail braking a little bit later in I think 2 or 3 weeks from now. So if you can't really nail down turn 5, I wouldn't worry about. Don't worry about it too much. But again, just focus on the S's, and then getting a good exit, good late apex on that final hairpin, and then obviously what we've done in sector 1 so far.
Dietrich gave me a bump.
Wild.
Just as a small refresher from the previous weeks, remember to smooth out your inputs. So when you turn in, try to smooth your turn-ins. It's easy to exceed the limit of grip whenever you're not being smooth. You might exceed the limit of grip very quickly at one point, and then it might overslow your car on entry, causing your car to slide. So try to smooth those inputs on turn in, and then also like the braking as well. And then remember that the tire squealing sound is what's going to indicate that you're close to the limit of grip. So if you're consistently hearing that through all parts of the corner, you're doing a good job of keeping your car on the limit through the entrance, the mid part of the corner, and the exit. And then I think for those who don't know, you can actually turn up the tire noise in the car as well if you have trouble hearing it.
I think I'm hesitant to get on the one with the grip.
Wait, say that again?
I think I'm hesitant to get to the one with the grip.
Is it a specific corner or is it just like all corners?
All corners, it feels like, you know, especially on exit, like it's just, I can't seem to, you know, the tires stop squealing. If it was like a wider corner, then yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like a narrow corner, like the last corner.
Yeah. So this on this car, like on the exit, right? If you go full throttle, sometimes like the back end will just start to slip out. So it's a matter of really